A wide view of a peaceful city shows a serene landscape under a blue sky. With homes and streets nestled between mountains, life seems calm and untouched. The text reveals this moment took place 249 years ago, setting the stage for a historical shift about to unfold. Citizens are seen walking the streets in warm clothing, enjoying daily life with no clue of the catastrophe looming above them. A girl glances up, eyes wide with shock, as the sky begins to tear. Her expression captures the sudden realization of an otherworldly event. A massive dimensional gate opens in the heavens, and terrifying creatures begin to descend. These beings, later known as demons, rain down from the sky, signaling the start of a dark era. The demons wasted no time after their arrival. They immediately declared war on humanity, plunging the world into chaos and bloodshed without warning. As monstrous beings rampaged through human settlements, the demons' invasion officially began, catching mankind unprepared and forcing a desperate response. In reaction to the threat, the Justice Alliance swiftly formed the demon-suppressing heavenly army and declared a crusade. But just 3 days into their mission, they clashed with a demon unit in Anhui and were completely wiped out. The Justice Orthodox and Unorthodox martial world united their forces in a final desperate effort. Together, they launched the last resistance battle in Sichuan, facing the demonic tide with unmatched resolve. Fierce battles broke out as the resistance army clashed with the overwhelming demon forces. Swords and martial arts collided with arcane terror, shaking the battlefield with chaos and despair. Despite their determination, the resistance only lasted half a month. The overwhelming power of the demons crushed their defense, and the unified army slowly crumbled. 90% of the resistance fighters were killed. Corpses piled up across battlefields, marking the complete collapse of the Central Plains martial world. Those who managed to survive were captured, shackled, and dragged mercilessly into the demon realm. Their defeat was absolute, leaving no room for escape or salvation. The narrator reveals that he, too, was among the captured. His fate intertwined with the fall of humanity, and like the others, he was taken beyond the human world. 5 years pass. In a distant and horrifying place, a dark ritual or experimentation is shown hinting at the terrible experiences endured by those who were taken. Born without the ability to use inner energy, the narrator was deemed a rare anomaly. Rather than being discarded, he was classified as a valuable specimen for experimentation. His body was subjected to endless biological modifications and mental reprogramming. Through this process, he was forged into a soldier of the demon realm's suppression force, stripped of autonomy and humanity. Over the following decades, he executed mission after mission. Sent to other dimensions, his task was to slaughter and subjugate, leaving countless civilizations in ruin under the demon realm's will. Haunted by bloodshed, he became a machine of war. Killing became his sole existence, no hesitation. No mercy, only death left in his path. 75 years into his servitude, his relentless efficiency and obedience were acknowledged. As a reward, he was promoted to the rank of Demon Corps Commander, rising in the hierarchy of terror. After 120 more years of devastation, he stands as a transformed being. His appearance monstrous, his humanity erased, and his purpose twisted by centuries of manipulation and violence. A former Demon Corps commander, now weary and battle-worn, stands solemnly as he recalls the turning point in his fate. After lifetimes of servitude, something greater began to stir within him. He discovered a mysterious existence, an eye that symbolized escape or transcendence. For decades, he researched obsessively, determined to learn how to reach it and what it meant for his destiny. After another 65 years of study and secret planning, he finally initiated the rebellion he had been preparing in the shadows, a daring uprising against the very realm that had enslaved him. A single week into the rebellion, chaos engulfed the demon strongholds. Fire and war erupted across the city, catching the demon realm off guard as his plan began to unfold. In the present day, the aftermath of battle lies all around. The once dominant city lies in ruin, corpses scattered, and silence replacing centuries of command and control. Bloodied and barely clinging to life, the man coughs and gasps on the battlefield. Yet even as his body falters, the spark in his eye shows he hasn't given up just yet. A towering flame-cloaked figure Tarante, the Demon King, looms before the fallen warrior, radiating overwhelming dominance. The battlefield burns under his aura, signaling the rebellion's brutal conclusion. The man acknowledges in silence, the rebellion has failed. His years of planning and sacrifice lie in ashes, crushed beneath the might of a force he couldn't defeat. With a condescending tone, Tarante calls the effort disappointing. He mocks the warrior's desperation, noting how he gave everything and still couldn't change his fate. Tarante speaks again, now addressing the man by name Shur von Gretel, as though savoring his humiliation. Shur, bloodied and kneeling, clenches his fists and mutters defiantly. He refuses to let everything end like this, clinging to one final hope. Mustering his last ounce of strength, Shur cries out a command, "King's Gate," invoking something dangerous, perhaps forbidden. The Demon King's eyes narrow. He realizes too late what Shur is doing. "I can feel it, forbidden," he growls, his tone shifting from mockery to alarm. The warrior grits his teeth, sweat dripping as he struggles to activate the forbidden technique. His body is on the verge of collapse, but his will remains unbroken. The Demon King mocks him coldly, noting how his enemies often tap into forbidden powers when they're desperate, claiming it's a common move from the weak. With condescension, the king declares that no miracle or shortcut can overcome their vast difference in strength. The gap is simply too great. Shur lifts his gaze with trembling breath, confronting the impossible. Despite his exhaustion, he questions the king's certainty. His tone shifts from desperation to calm defiance. He turns his back, stepping forward with quiet determination. Even in defeat, he declares that he's not finished, that he still has something left to do. The Demon King, unimpressed, growls that this insolence has lasted long enough. Flames rise around him as he declares this is the end of Shur's defiance. Shur drops to his knees, barely conscious. Yet even now, he clings to resolve. In his mind, he sees a woman and a child and whispers with finality, "I will not die by your hand." Shur gathers his final ounce of strength, blood dripping from his wounds, and lets out a defiant roar as he rises to his feet. His eyes blaze with desperation and determination. The Demon King's expression shifts in surprise. He senses something unusual awakening within Shur, a presence or power that wasn't there before. Shur screams in agony as a torrent of raw energy bursts from his body, causing visible cracks to spread across his skin as if something unnatural is erupting from within. A massive surge of light explodes upward, forming a towering pillar of violet energy. The air ripples violently, and mystical symbols begin spiraling into the sky. The energy condenses into rings of arcane force, locking into place as if triggering an ancient forbidden technique. The light intensifies and distorts the surroundings. Shur, engulfed in this beam of blinding energy, launches himself forward toward the Demon King. The force of the magic distorts space as he accelerates with unstoppable momentum. The Demon King gazes at Shur with an amused expression, calling his transformation temporal regression. He recognizes the chaotic power now coursing through Shur's body, a combination of ancient evil and forbidden might. It surprises even him, as this power isn't something that should exist in any mortal vessel. Shur's body glows with intense violet light as the arcane energy settles around him. His ragged breath and battered form pulse with dark energy. The Demon King now understands that every act of pain, every moment of suffering Shur endured over the years was part of this build-up and unstoppable plan to unleash forbidden magic. Driven by hatred and bloodlust, Shur shouts with fierce determination. He promises the Demon King that next time, he will be strong enough to kill him for sure. This is not just rage, but a vow born from decades of agony and humiliation. Shure's eye glows red with wrath, and he swears vengeance on every last demon. He proclaims that he will destroy every demon, no matter how long it takes. His voice shakes with fury, his will unbreakable as he marks every demon for death. The Demon King lets out a chilling laugh in response to Shure's threats. Rather than fear, he shows excitement and anticipation. With a devilish grin, he tells Shure he'll be looking forward to their next encounter, fueling the fire for their inevitable clash. The Demon King's words echo as he acknowledges the human he once respected. As the final blast of violet energy shoots upward, the heavens seem to respond. This power is no ordinary spell, it's a dimensional transition, and it tears open space as Shure's body is cast out of the demon realm. A dazzling pillar of violet lightning crashes into the skies of another world. The heavens rumble as a celestial crack splits open above the central plane's martial world, indicating that a foreign force has crossed the threshold between realms. It's an unnatural storm, signaling the arrival of something far beyond comprehension. From afar, the central plane's vast martial cities remain still under the night sky. But within moments, lightning strikes down through one of the cities, alarming those with sharp senses. The world below has not yet realized what is coming, but nature reacts first. The bolt lands with precision, hitting a secluded rooftop. Purple mist swirls and the very tiles crack under its weight. It's not destruction, but a powerful entry, the force of someone falling from the heavens, bound by purpose and rebirth. In the aftermath of the impact, a body lies motionless amid rubble and smoke. Shure has arrived. His battered form is barely conscious, but the journey through time and space has brought him back to a world unaware of what looms ahead. As he opens his eyes slowly, narration states what's to come. From this moment forward, time will no longer flow peacefully. The countdown has begun. This world has now entered the brief calm before a devastating storm. Shure's eye glows faintly as he awakens. His gaze is sharper than before, haunted yet focused. The second chance has begun, and his mission is clear: prepare this world before the demon invasion begins anew. The passage of 10 years is announced, setting a significant time leap since the events of the demon invasion and Shure's return. This suggests a buildup of time where preparations or consequences have unfolded unseen, and the calm might only be surface deep. The next scene opens in the vibrant and orderly Dragon Spring Pavilion, a martial sect filled with traditional architecture and a serene atmosphere. It appears peaceful, almost disconnected from the looming threat hinted at before, showcasing a world that has seemingly returned to normalcy or ignorance. A group of workers is shown hammering tiles on a rooftop, engaging in everyday repairs. Their conversation is casual, grounded in routine, which further emphasizes how unaware or unconcerned most people are about what might be coming. One of the workers expresses doubt about the sturdiness of the roof, noting that it looks as if it had been broken once before. His words carry double meaning for readers aware of the earlier impact. This spot was likely where Shure fell a decade ago, masked now by mundane repairs. Another worker tries to brush off the concern, saying that they patched it up nicely. He seems more interested in completing the job than investigating the unusual damage, showing how easy it is for significant events to be buried under daily life. Finally, the older man adds a reflective remark, noting that it's been 10 years since that strange event happened. His tone suggests he hasn't forgotten the mystery entirely, but with time, even strange occurrences fade from urgency until they resurface again. This sets up the tension that the past might soon return to disrupt the peace. The image opens with a wide shot of a grand martial arena where spectators and disciples of the Dragon Spring Pavilion have gathered. The narrator announces that today marks the beginning of the competition that will determine the next pavilion master, an event of great prestige and importance in their sex hierarchy. From the raised platform, an elder formally declares the commencement of the official sparring match, signaling the crowd to settle in. There's an air of seriousness and anticipation, as this is not just a friendly duel, but a decisive battle for leadership. The announcement continues with the full title: This match will decide the successor to the Dragon Spring Pavilion's master seat. The phrase is met with loud cheers from the spectators, showing just how momentous this day is for the sect and its future. As the crowd watches, Kang Sabai walks into the arena with composed determination. His entrance is solemn yet confident, and his appearance suggests he is a prime candidate and a well-known figure among the members. A second fighter steps forward to challenge for the same position, identified as one of the most powerful senior disciples. His muscular frame and strong stance emphasize that this duel will be fierce and evenly matched. Both contenders take their places in the dueling zone. The scene is now set. The strongest disciples of the sect are about to battle for the right to become the pavilion master. The pressure is intense, and all eyes are locked on what's to come. The announcer declares the terms of the duel. Both fighters must engage without stepping out of the arena's boundaries. The rules are meant to keep the fight controlled and intense, emphasizing technique, discipline, and precision under pressure. A wide view of the arena shows the two combatants preparing for battle while the audience watches in silent anticipation. The gravity of the duel is reflected in the calm before the storm, with both warriors mentally preparing themselves. The senior disciple holding a massive spear chuckles and taunts his opponent, mocking the fact that Kang Sabai actually returned to challenge for the title. His smirk and sarcasm suggest he views Kang as someone beneath him, perhaps a once disgraced or underestimated rival. As he twirls his weapon confidently, the burly fighter boasts about his expectations to face someone more worthy. His arrogant demeanor fuels the tension, and he makes it clear he doesn't consider Kang Sabai a threat, despite their shared goal. The man scoffs again and swings his weapon dramatically, dismissing Kang as nothing more than a disgrace. His anger seems to mask deeper insecurities as he aggressively asserts dominance in front of the audience. Kang Sabai calmly reflects on his past, recalling a time when he was a martial arts instructor and largely ignored by others. Despite his previously weak condition, he notes how people still remember and recognize him now, hinting at how far he's come and foreshadowing that he won't be underestimated anymore. The narration reflects on the protagonist's darkest times. He was once a failure, mocked and abandoned, having fallen from grace in the martial world. The shadows and tone suggest those days left deep scars that still affect him now. We see a visual flashback of the burly warrior taunting him, as Kang Sabai had once been dismissed publicly in front of his peers. The imagery of him turning away in shame contrasts heavily with the confident figure he has become now. Another memory surfaces. Kang Sabai was stripped of his position and title, labeled a disgrace, and seen as unworthy to teach martial arts. This moment cemented his fall and gave rise to years of pain and humiliation. As these bitter memories resurface, Kang's expression grows firm and cold. He acknowledges that those truly were the worst days of his life, revealing that his journey back to the stage was born from these very low points. The muscular opponent appears confused by Kang's silence, unable to understand the emotional weight of the moment. Meanwhile, Kang slowly steps forward with resolve, signaling the beginning of a long-awaited confrontation. With a fire in his eyes and calm fury in his voice, Kang declares that he's been waiting for this fight for a long time. His tone drips with vengeance and purpose as he insults the man who once looked down on him, calling him ugly bastard. The opponent snaps with rage, calling Kang an insolent brat for daring to speak so boldly. He lashes out, proclaiming he'll punish Kang severely, both for his disrespect and for daring to rise again despite once being thrown out as a disgrace. The furious warrior lunges forward, yelling that his opponent will pay for his insolent mouth. A crimson aura erupts around his weapon as he activates a powerful martial technique, Divine Spear. Bull Demon Thrust, signaling a deadly, straight-line attack infused with destructive energy. His face distorts with savage intensity as his eyes glow a demonic red, veins bulging with force. Every muscle in his body is focused on delivering the devastating move, showcasing his violent nature and complete lack of restraint as he channels the technique to its peak. The spear slashes downward with overwhelming force, now transitioning into second form, Bull Demon Slash. A spiraling wave of power follows the swing, and the narration intensifies the moment by highlighting the sensation of the spear making contact, implying a brutal and potentially fatal strike. The fierce warrior, who moments ago charged with absolute confidence, freezes mid-swing. His pupils shrink and a cold sweat forms on his brow. His opponent has vanished. The sheer disbelief etched on his face tells a story of someone who had anticipated an easy clash, only to be met with something completely outside his expectations. Frantically, he jerks his head from side to side, trying to scan the battlefield. His body tenses, his stance uncertain. A burst of wind rushes past him, and his mind reels. There was no movement, no footsteps, nothing to track. "He's gone," he exclaims, voice trembling not from fear, but from sheer confusion and building frustration. As silence blankets the area, his foe finally steps into view, unbothered, relaxed even. Standing just a few feet away, he places a hand on the hilt of his sword as if to say, "I've been here all along." The contrast between the two couldn't be starker, one rattled and wide-eyed, the other composed and unreadable. But the enraged warrior refuses to back down. With gritted teeth, he roars that he doesn't care where the other hides. His pride won't let him retreat. Swinging his weapon with raw strength, he slices through the air, creating a crimson arc of power, but once again, he hits nothing. The momentum of his missed strike throws his body slightly off balance. As he turns to recover, he starts to realize something isn't right. There's a cold breath down his neck, the kind that only appears when someone's already behind you. His instinct screams he's being toyed with. A sudden chill runs through him as he realizes just how outclassed he is. "This doesn't make any sense," he mutters to himself, as flashes of the earlier exchange replay in his mind. "When did he get behind me? I couldn't see a damn thing." For the first time, doubt replaces rage in his eyes. Then, like a phantom, his opponent calmly reveals himself again, expression steady, posture unshaken. He remarks coldly, almost mockingly, "You're too slow." The words sting more than any blade, and as he adds that such sluggish attacks won't ever work against him, it becomes painfully clear. This isn't a duel, it's a lesson. The older warrior grits his teeth and snarls in frustration, refusing to admit his opponent's superiority. He tries to rationalize the last exchange, convincing himself it was pure luck. His pride won't let him accept that the boy might be stronger or faster, so he prepares to retaliate with all he's got. Channeling his fury into action, he stomps forward with crushing force, cracking the ground beneath him. Dust and debris shoot into the air as the sheer weight of his movement sends tremors across the arena. It's a display of raw physical power, aimed to intimidate and overwhelm. His body launches skyward in a single, thunderous motion, spear raised above his head. His silhouette eclipses the sun, forming a fearsome shadow over his opponent. The height and momentum of the jump signal his intention. This isn't a strike for control or dominance. It's an execution attempt. With a frenzied glare and red aura pulsing around him, he lets out a guttural war cry midair. His voice shakes with emotion, rage, desperation, and unrelenting hatred. He activates the next level of his technique, declaring the bull demon divine spear fourth form, channeling every ounce of his strength into this single blow. Descending like a meteor, he unleashes the falling bull spear, his spear crackling with vicious red energy. The entire battlefield watches in stunned silence as the sheer force of his attack seems poised to obliterate anything in its path. This is his ultimate card, a make-or-break moment fueled by his boiling pride. Meanwhile, the younger fighter narrows his eyes, calm and unreadable. He doesn't flinch or react wildly. Instead, he studies his opponent's descent with chilling focus. It's clear he's not underestimating the power coming his way, but neither does he appear afraid of it. Quietly, he adjusts his grip on his blade, entering a smooth stance. Energy begins to swirl around him like the eye of a storm. In that instant, his body radiates precision and deadly intent. The scene shifts. He's not going to dodge. He's going to counter. And whatever happens next, it'll decide everything. The young warrior remains poised, blade lowered yet eyes sharp with anticipation. His calm demeanor radiates unshakable confidence, making it clear he is prepared to respond to whatever attack comes next. The battlefield air crackles with tension as the crowd watches, breath held. The older fighter bursts into manic laughter, mocking his opponent with wild eyes and crazed intensity. He jeers at the idea that such a pathetic spear play could ever stop him, revealing both his arrogance and growing desperation. His madness is now matched by his ferocity. With a sudden motion, he gathers energy in his palm, summoning a ball of blazing flame. The glowing fireball pulses with destructive heat, illuminating his face with a molten hue. This is no ordinary attack. He's breaking the rules, resorting to forbidden techniques. Surprised and caught off guard, the young man's eyes widen as he sees the fireball manifest. The expression on his face is a mix of alarm and realization. This wasn't part of the official duel's conditions, and yet the man's madness has pushed him beyond restraint. The fireball erupts in a devastating blast as the older warrior hurls it with full force. Flames explode outward in a fiery sphere, engulfing part of the arena. The sheer intensity of the magical attack sends shockwaves across the ground, with onlookers recoiling at the impact. Spectators from the stands watch in stunned silence, expressions frozen between horror and disbelief. One man gasps with a clenched jaw, while another leans forward, eyes wide. The fireball wasn't just unexpected, it's a blatant breach of honor, and they all know something unforgivable has occurred. The spectators in the stands are thrown into chaos as flames erupt before their eyes. Fear spreads across their faces, with one child screaming and adults shielding themselves. The unexpected fire attack sends waves of panic through the audience, shattering any sense of order or fairness. Amidst the blazing inferno, one onlooker cries out in terror, shouting "Fire!" while watching a figure engulfed in the flames. The overwhelming heat and visual shock leave the crowd paralyzed, the atmosphere no longer one of a martial arts match, but of raw destruction. An official standing in the judge's box, shaken and unsure, quickly declares the match over. His voice trembles, not out of relief but sheer disbelief. This wasn't supposed to happen. An official duel turned into a public endangerment incident. Raising his weapon triumphantly, the older man named Hang Gabai is declared the winner. Despite his brutal and dishonorable tactics, his arm stretches skyward as if basking in glory. The announcer's words ring hollow against the backdrop of scorched earth and murmurs of discontent. As flames and darkness surround the young warrior's past memory, a narration reveals that he had once been captured by demons during their invasion of the martial world. His body appears battered and chained, a testament to the unspeakable torment he endured while surviving in hellish conditions. Dragged into the heart of the demon realm, the warrior faced a seemingly endless struggle. Among vicious creatures and unrelenting battles, he not only fought for survival, but also began to uncover something deeper. A realization and incredible truth began to emerge from the crucible of pain and perseverance. The scorched opponent lies collapsed on the shattered tiles, clearly defeated. The victorious young man smugly looks down at him, confidently taunting. "So, how's that for the power of my heat-cultivating technique?" His words carry both sarcasm and pride, as the crowd begins to process that what they witnessed wasn't mere brute strength, but something more advanced and calculated. The narration shifts focus to the deeper truth behind the flashy attack. It reveals that what appears to be martial arts is, in fact, highly developed magic. The technique called fireball, masked as a martial art, is indistinguishable from traditional combat. With a sly grin and folded arms, the victor stands tall, fully aware that his mastery of magic disguised as martial prowess sets him apart from the rest. The injured instructor lies unconscious on the ground, surrounded by cracked tiles and the remnants of a fierce battle. His body is scorched, his limbs limp, and the battle's victor stands tall, a clear gap in strength now visible. Two examiners rush toward the fallen man, concerned but relieved to find him alive. Their expressions show a mix of disbelief and apprehension, stunned by how decisively the match ended. The crowd is abuzz with mixed reactions: shock, awe, and confusion. One man steps forward, questioning whether what they just witnessed was truly martial arts, suggesting there may have been magic involved. Among the crowd, a furious man clenches his jaw and growls about how unacceptable the defeat was. His pride as a martial instructor has been wounded, and he can't hide his seething anger. As the dust settles, the victorious youth walks away calmly, his weapon sheathed. Everyone parts to make room for him, their gazes fixed in silent fear or amazement, unsure how to classify what they've seen. Two senior instructors stand back, reflecting on the match. One admits that although the duel followed the rules, the destructive power on display is beyond what they expected, and possibly beyond what should be allowed. One of the elders recalls a previous encounter with a young man. He silently acknowledges that even back then, there was something different about him, something ominous and untamed. A flashback reveals the young man in his childhood, already training intensely. He is shown manipulating spiritual energy or mana, channeling raw force with ease, while elders observe with stunned expressions. The young man concludes his thoughts in the present, calmly stating that his technique, though resembling magic, is merely martial arts at its peak. His confident tone and serene expression contrast with the lingering unease among the instructors and crowd. An enraged instructor clenches his fist and shouts furiously, accusing the young man of insulting the academy and mocking its traditions. His pride has clearly taken a blow, and his temper is reaching its limit. The young man responds calmly, stating that whether he intended to or not, the outcome remains the same. He subtly implies that the academy's rules may not be as solid or justified as they think. He then turns his back and walks away casually, pointing out that despite the outcry, no one interfered during the match. His composed posture contrasts sharply with the heated emotions around him. With a confident smirk, he calls out the hypocrisy of the senior instructors. He emphasizes that if they had truly thought his methods were inappropriate, they would have stopped him then and there. His next line cuts deeper. He challenges them by asking whether they fear him or the truth behind his strength. His words expose the silent hesitation among the staff to confront him directly. One instructor, furious and flustered, demands a formal disciplinary session to deal with the young man's defiance. His order is meant to reassert authority, but it feels reactionary and forced. Before things escalate further, another senior raises his hand and interjects, politely asking to speak. His timing and tone show that he wants to de-escalate the situation with reason. He proposes that since tensions are clearly rising and both sides seem ready to clash, the best solution is a more controlled and official combat event, something that can be handled through a formal system. His calm logic offers a path forward. A calm instructor steps forward and suggests resolving the matter through an official duel in accordance with academy rules. His statement brings a sense of order to the growing conflict, offering a way to settle things formally. The young man acknowledges the suggestion with confidence. Without hesitation, he accepts the duel, folding his arms and standing tall with a smirk that hints at his certainty of victory. As the duel is approved, a formal banner appears to mark the official match. It signifies that the academy has accepted the young man's challenge, turning this heated exchange into a sanctioned battle. Two opponents from the academy step up, looking uneasy as they prepare to face him. Their body language shows reluctance and apprehension, realizing they're up against someone far above their level. The young man strolls forward confidently while the others nervously watch him. His strides are calm and deliberate, while whispers ripple through the crowd as they begin to recognize his strength. He throws a quick glance over his shoulder at his challengers with a confident smirk. In the next moment, the scenery transitions to the Dragon Spring Pavilion, where he walks alone, signifying a shift in the setting and perhaps his next goal or destination. The narration introduces the Academy's tradition. Every student, once admitted, is given one opportunity to select a martial technique to learn, reinforcing the value and importance of this moment. A flashback shows a student training in fierce combat, illustrating the intense pressure to choose a skill that could shape one's entire future in martial arts. The stakes are high, and the environment is relentless. We see several students standing together, seemingly having already selected their techniques. Their composed posture suggests they've completed this rite of passage and are watching to see who enters next. The young man enters the grand hall filled with martial scrolls. His footsteps echo as he confidently approaches the shelves, implying he's about to make a very bold or unusual decision. Without hesitation, he reaches for a scroll and opens the door with authority, drawing immediate attention from a senior who had been overseeing the process. The elder seems surprised by this sudden action. A wide shot reveals the young man standing before the senior instructor, who sternly questions his choice, clearly concerned or puzzled by the unorthodox move. The elder named Instructor Jameek demands an explanation, his expression mixed with disbelief and suspicion. He emphasizes the seriousness of the rules regarding technique selection. The young man responds calmly, claiming he merely picked what he was most suited for. Instructor Jameek erupts in anger, calling it nonsense and accusing him of twisting the system for his gain. The instructor angrily holds up the selected scroll, exclaiming that it's forbidden and was never meant to be accessed by students. His body language and expression make it clear this is a serious breach of rules. The protagonist stands calmly in the middle of the room, silent but unmoved by the instructor's outrage. His stillness contrasts the escalating tension in the room, adding to the weight of his presence. A close-up of his eye shows deep focus as he internally acknowledges the name of the technique, one that holds powerful emotional value for him. His seriousness hints at a personal reason behind the selection. The instructor questions the boy's motive, asking if he even knows the origin of the scroll and the consequences tied to it. His voice is full of concern and disbelief, trying to make sense of this audacious choice. Suddenly, the instructor shifts into reflection. He begins to explain that the technique was created by someone dear to him, a person who was like family and more valuable than even his own blood relatives. Tears well up in his eyes as he shares how the person who developed the technique disappeared long ago and was never heard from again. His grief pours out, revealing an emotional scar that's still fresh. The protagonist watches quietly, his gaze softening as he realizes the depth of pain tied to this martial art. Despite everything, he remains respectful but firm in his decision. A glowing narration overlays the scene, revealing that the person who created the scroll was once more precious to the instructor than even his parents, suggesting a profound bond or mentorship between them. We flash back to a fiery memory of the creator, a woman being protected in the midst of chaos, carrying the very scroll. She entrusted it to the instructor, asking him to keep it safe. He finishes by reaffirming the importance of that promise, his voice trembling with emotion. The instructor grips the protagonist's wrist firmly, declaring with determination that he won't allow the situation to spiral out of control. His grip and expression reflect a deep desire to protect both the boy and the academy from danger. The elder, stunned by the protagonist's unwavering attitude, goes silent. His face shows traces of inner conflict, unable to find the words to oppose someone so resolute and sincere. The protagonist lowers his head slightly and softly pleads for trust. With eyes full of resolve, he assures the elder that he will personally take responsibility and fix all the problems no matter what they are. As night falls, a panoramic view of the darkened academy glows faintly under the moonlight. The atmosphere is calm, contrasting the tense energy building up for what's to come. Inside a quiet room, the protagonist prepares for his mission. He raises his hand, which begins to glow with intense blue energy, signaling the start of his training or ritual. As the aura intensifies, he forms a complex magical formation in mid-air using precise control. His shirtless form, now surrounded by glowing energy, shows his total commitment to mastering this dangerous power. A narration overlays his focused expression, stating that he must completely learn this forbidden martial art before the selection exam arrives. There is no time to waste, and no room for failure. A vivid flashback or vision appears, showing a terrifying figure with dark energy and red eyes. This enemy looms like a shadow of death, representing the threat the protagonist is preparing to face. The protagonist quietly reaffirms his resolve. Even against a fearsome enemy like this, he's determined to face it head-on and win. His final word, "yeah," echoes like a solemn vow in the night. The image opens with the protagonist's intense eye peeking through a shadowed veil, suggesting that he is awakening or re-emerging from a long slumber. His gaze is sharp, full of suppressed power and a foreboding presence, hinting at a return from a dark place. A powerful declaration is made, "I have returned." Visions of a muscular, scarred warrior, monstrous creatures, and an infernal ritualistic chamber flash across the screen. These fragmented memories reveal the unspeakable horrors and chaos the protagonist endured in some otherworldly realm. An enormous eye, burning with surreal energy, looms across the background. The narration says he came from within that hell, implying he escaped a dimension filled with madness, torment, and monsters one few could survive, let alone return from. Inside this hellscape, we see twisted beasts and cosmic horrors looming in a vertical frame. The protagonist reflects that his journey wasn't just survival, it was war. He endured that madness so that one day he could return and wield his trauma as fuel for vengeance. Despite the torment, he clenches his glowing hand with renewed determination. He tells himself it's not over yet, he hasn't fulfilled his purpose. The blue energy coursing through his veins is a symbol of his rebirth and rising resolve. Now back in the physical world, he walks through a traditional hallway, reflecting that although his body may be free, the weight of what he witnessed lingers heavily. There's no going back, only forward toward confrontation. The final panels show terrifying entities and nightmarish overlords, the ones he plans to destroy. With grit and fire in his voice, he vows that he will rise, not as prey, but as the one who will overturn fate and bring down the very monsters that ruled over hell. A dark, misty background sets a somber and suspenseful tone. The narration declares that there is no more time for hesitation, implying that a crucial moment has arrived, one that demands immediate action and unwavering resolve. A terrifying fiery demon with glowing eyes and a monstrous snarl appears in a burst of flames. This being is likely a powerful inner entity or a fearsome memory. The visuals radiate rage and dominance, symbolizing the chaos or fury the protagonist has either faced or become. The scene transitions to the protagonist, his face now lit with a sinister red glow, his eyes burning with a demonic gleam. He stands tall and dangerous, and the narration warns of a being beyond traitor, beyond murderer. This suggests he has either been reborn into something darker or has inherited the essence of something monstrous. A quiet shift occurs as we return to a room where a door slides open. The sudden contrast from overwhelming rage to subtle motion shows a return to the present. Someone has arrived, and tension fills the air with the click of the door. A man turns and addresses the new arrival, asking if he is indeed the student who just returned. The student confirms respectfully, calling him sir. Their composed demeanor contrasts sharply with the chaos hinted at just moments ago. The elder man expresses relief and curiosity, pointing out that the student was reported missing for days. The student calmly replies that he's fine now, with a slight, confident smile. There's a sense he's holding back the full truth of where he has been. He then explains, vaguely but firmly, that he had something important to take care of. His crossed arms and focused expression suggest that the mission was personal and possibly dangerous, but also transformative. The final panel shows the elder's realization. He remembers hearing rumors about this student, rumors that connect him to significant past events involving a powerful and tragic incident. His serious gaze is mixed with awe and concern, hinting that this boy may not be ordinary at all. A confident young man greets the elder instructor, offering a courteous smile while delivering his report. He seems composed and prepared, standing upright with pride as he answers about his successful return and potential involvement in an upcoming plan. A sinister grin spreads across his face as he hints at deeper motives. The expression betrays something cunning beneath the surface. He isn't just being polite. He's clearly playing a larger game and is enjoying how events are unfolding. The scene transitions outside under a moonlit sky. The calm ambience contrasts the tension built earlier. The rooftops are bathed in cold blue light, hinting at silence and secrets moving in the shadows. The protagonist walks briskly through the temple courtyard, his robe swaying with every step. His demeanor is focused. The air is still, but every movement suggests he's headed toward something important, perhaps a critical confrontation or a premeditated act. A wider view of the building reveals the grandeur of the sect grounds. The narration reflects on the risk he took entering this place and suggests that every step within these walls is part of a delicate, dangerous plan that is finally beginning to take shape. A mysterious figure in formal attire appears. With an unreadable expression, he is introduced as someone powerful and politically positioned, possibly a leader or key strategist. He reflects on recent power shifts and his cautious observation of the new arrival who could disrupt the established balance. Inside a large chamber, a serious meeting is underway. The young man enters the room, facing several seated elders. Their stern faces show that this is no ordinary gathering. This is likely a pivotal council, and the young man's words and actions in this room could decide the fate of future events. The scene opens with a stern and commanding figure, Chin Semyung, the head of swordsmanship. He coldly questions whether the request for the instructor promotion evaluation still stands, directing his inquiry with intensity and calculated authority. His words drip with challenge, as though he's setting a trap or drawing attention toward a predetermined scapegoat. The ambience in the room is tense, carrying the weight of internal sect politics. In response, the younger man, calm and composed, affirms the request with a thin smile. His tone is almost mocking as he refers to the person being evaluated as this piece of trash. Without hesitation, he openly names the accused as the one dragging the Dragon Spring Pavilion into disgrace. His confidence suggests not just personal spite, but a deeper scheme to manipulate the power structure from within. The moment closes with tension thick in the air, and the fate of the accused hanging in the balance.